Now, Msimanga and Khume Ramulifho are expected to go head-to-head for the Democratic Alliance's Gauteng leadership role. This comes as former Joburg mayor and caucus leader Mpho Phalatse has reportedly pulled out. Now, the incumbent leader Msimanga and the Gauteng shadow MEC for Education are now expected to battle it out for this top job. The party will have its provincial congress at the Birchwood Hotel in Boksburg on the 12th of August. Ramulifho officially launched his campaign in Melrose Arch recently. He's set to challenge Msimanga, who was elected to this position in 2019. He joins us now in studio. Khume, thank you so much for making time for us. Why have you decided to run for the position of provincial leader?
Thanks for the opportunity, Clement. It didn't come easy. It was a tough call to make. I was approached by a number of colleagues who indicated that we have not been doing well considering the past two elections. And we believe that you have got integrity, you have got experience, you have got leadership qualities which can assist us and lead us towards 2024 elections so that we can win the province. Because what we have witnessed, the ANC has been declining. Equally, the DA too, rather than us benefiting from the losses which the ANC has been losing. So, and after a huge conversation with a number of colleagues, and I said, I will only do it on condition. You must be prepared that we're going to hit the ground running together, because this task is huge. After I got the confirmation that indeed we're going to rally behind you and we are going to make it happen, I felt convinced and say, indeed, and let me do it. I have what it takes, and I'm committed to do it. I mean, based on my experience and my leadership since I joined the party, I've made a number of successes. And I think that is the reason why a number of colleagues approached me to say, consider running. And I felt like, yes, I will do it for the party and for the people of this province.
Okay. We'll talk about what you think you can do differently. But when you look at someone like Msimanga, he's been in the position since around 2019. Some say he's got the incumbency advantage. He's got the support of John Steenhuisen, possibly the support of Helen Zille as well. So there's some people who say this position for him is almost sealed. So how confident are you that you stand a good chance?
I'm very confident, because I've been also going around the province, visiting number of delegates, and the support, as I said, is very encouraging, is very positive. And these are people who say, we're prepared to work with you. And that's why I'm saying it gives me confidence to go for it. But I can also confirm that, the names of people who you said are supporting him have done that, because I've not seen anything in that regard. Because if you want to endorse or support someone, must do it in writing. So I've not seen that. But equally, my focus is mostly on the ordinary delegates who are on the ground, because they know that I'm there for them. I've done a lot for them to be part of the decision-making process in the party. Just to give one example, when you go to congresses, the representation of non-public representative in the DA Congress was 2%. I made constitutional amendments to review that. At first, I moved from 2% to 35%. Then subsequent to that, I also make amendment from 35% to 45%, just to make sure that when we make decisions, these are decisions which also involve our ordinary members, and that's something which they are very proud of, that we've got leaders who look after their interests, who care, that they need to be part of the decisions when we on this party, and whatever we do, if they believe that they are part of it, they take ownership. And that's why I'm very proud that the support I'm getting, and even people who left us in 2019, 2021, since I announced my candidature, they're sending me messages, calling me, we want to renew our membership. We want to be back. And that's, for me, it's a positive message, and that is what I want.
Let's talk about because you've mentioned that there are a number of things that have been going wrong with the DA. It's also been declining, just like the ANC, perhaps not at the same rate. What do you think Msimanga has failed to do that you want to address?
I won't necessarily say him as a person, but as a party, what we have not really succeeded. Part of our mandate as part of our program of action is to ensure that we endeavor to be in government and win more support. So the moment you don't do that, it means that we're not really there. And I'm saying the opportunity is so, it's huge out there. We've got so many number of, eligible voters. We have not reached out to them. Reports indicate that Gauteng has got more than 12 million eligible voters. And out of 12 million eligible voters, about 6 million of them are registered to vote. So you can see that the pool is huge there. And if we really want to win, we just need to go and target people who are not registered, make sure that we pursue and urge them, persuade them, to ensure that they get registered and vote for us. Because we have not really done that, because if you look at also the participation of those who are already registered, about 6 million of them, if you look at 2019, only about 4.2 million have actually participated in the elections. That on its own tells you that there seems to be an ongoing voter apathy. So as leaders, we need to show South Africans, voters, that you can put your trust on politicians. Politicians who must be able to provide leadership, who must show that they've got integrity, so that you can rely and trust on them, rather than, every now and then when we talk about South African politicians, it's scandals, scandal after scandal. We can't have that. We need to restore confidence amongst the voters that not all of us are the same. There are people who are genuine. There are people who are really serious about serving our communities, about, availing themselves, accessible, responsive, and committed to serve them. And that is what actually what
Is it Msimanga, that kind of leader? I'm asking about an individual because it matters who leads an organization, even at provincial level. I hear what you say about it's the party that we must reflect on. But if that was the case, the DA could put any Tom, Dick and Harry to run the party in the province. I'm asking about Msimanga. From your own reflection, what do you think you'll be able to do differently that he hasn't been able to do?
I'm saying from my perspective, because he's not here to speak for himself, which, some of the questions will be proper to direct to him. But I'm telling our delegates and South Africans that here's the leader with integrity. Here's the leader you can trust. Here's the leader who is committed to serve you. I'm accessible, I'm responsive, and I'm prepared to provide support. And many of our public representatives, our own activists, and even ordinary South African, I don't even know. They are confident that they can rely on me. They send me, queries which they have, expecting me to respond. And I'm telling you, by and large, many of them are happy with the service which I commit myself to do, especially as a public representative. So that is what I'm offering. And I'm saying I want to do that as a leader of the party leading to 2024. So that is what the offer I'm giving. The other people, as delegates, specifically, I want them to make the judgment on their own to say, here are the leaders. That's why we've got regular elections, is to get the mandate. Whether your mandate can be renewed or not renewed, it's what delegates have to do. So they need to make consideration based on that and say, here we've got leaders, let's make comparison. Who is likely to lead us there? Who has got the energy? Who is more committed to do that? And is it someone who will be able to sell and reconnect on the ground? Because it's also about connection. People you want to work with, are they willing to do it with you? And in this case, they are saying they are committed to do it, and I'm saying I'm also open. Let's do it together. When
you launched your campaign, you said that you believe that the party has the potential to be the strongest party and the best alternative to the ANC. What do you think has made the DA a weak alternative to the ANC recently?
I think we've probably focused much on the ANC rather than ourselves. Pointing failures of the ANC rather than promoting our own values. We talk about, freedom. We talk about fairness. We talk about diversity. We talk about opportunities. Those are some of the things which I believe that we should be focusing much on and telling South Africans, this is what the DA is all about. Look at our principles. Many South Africans will relate, but we've not really been selling and communicating who the DA is. We've been talking mostly about who is the ANC, which then we can see the ANC decline, but rather than see, the DA growth. So I want us to, refocus and make sure that we start to focus much on what is the DA, what is the DA does, or what are the DA values, what are the DA principles, how do we then go about it? And as part of our program of action is to ensure that, we rally support to be in government. Where we're in government, we must deliver, quality basic services and hold each other accountable. Also, where we are in opposition, we must also be an effective opposition. But in this case, because of Gauteng, I think we've done a wonderful job in the province. You can look at the record with some of our colleagues in the province that we've done our best. What we need now is to be given an opportunity to lead. We've got a number of colleagues who have got enough experience. We've got people who have got, they're thirsty to lead. And that, for me, is a drive. And that's why I want to reignite the mood on the ground to make sure that we win elections next year.
If you lead a successful campaign, what would be your contribution to the party on the approach it should take to coalitions? For instance, would you revive talks and open the door to the EFF?
Oh, as you know, our leader has started the Moonshot Pact as part of, inviting a way of inviting political parties which we share the same values to say, can we get together so that we can have a framework or guidelines in terms of what can we do, how can we go about it, so that those parties who share the same values can make that contribution. But in this case, EFF is not part of us, so we don't have an agreement with them. We're not going to agree with them. But there are other parties which are opening up. But for me, in Gauteng, my priority is to win outright. We've seen that the coalitions sometimes they pose some challenges on their own, where instability becomes the business, rather than prioritizing saving our people. So that's why I'm saying I'm aiming to go for outright win.
That's too ambitious.
Very ambitious, but it's doable. Because when you look at the pool of voters which is out there, you need to be ambitious and say we want to reach these voters and vote for us. So it means that when you commit to take this role, sleepless nights, which I'm committed. And also, I've already started. I'm also fundraising. I'm asking people to say, you are in business, election expensive. Please rally behind us, give us money so that we can win this election.
It's one thing to fundraise. It's also another thing to get more young people to come out and vote. And more crucially, is another thing for those people that you've managed to get out and vote, to vote for your party, whether you are the EFF or the DA or the ANC. There's a level of reflection, and the reason I say ambitious, I'm not just saying that because there are a lot of people that may not come out to vote, but I'm saying there are people that may look at the DA and say, I'm not too sure. You've indicated yourself, this is a party that's been declining. Do you think the DA, as it stands right now, is capable of luring all of those millions of young people to give them the opportunity next year?
Oh, we are capable. We've got ancillary organization, the DA Youth, which needs to be, refocused. You've got your DASO, which is, focusing on the student politics or student activism. It's one of the, institutions I founded some 25 years ago. You've got Women Network. So we've got a lot of structures we can use to mobilize and get support. And the message which I've been communicating, especially with our own members, say start at home, because these voters which you're talking about, it's not like they're somewhere else where we don't even know where they are. It's people we stay with, our brothers, our sisters, our partners, our neighbors. We can just reach out to them and say, look, this is what needs to be done. Can we do it? And again, as I said, they need to look at politicians and say, who are these people? Is it people who can rely on? Is it people who, they can, pass the credibility test? And that is something which we need to instill, so that we must attract them, because they must feel like, these are people who are going to lead us, and we must trust them that indeed they are going to lead us, and emphasize that they must hold us to account, because it's not only just electing people and then you said it's enough, we leave them. So we always encourage them to say, hold us to account, because you put us there. It's not only being elected and we're all happy that we're elected. It's to say what we made as commitments, are we fulfilling those commitments? So that's something which we need to emphasize. So we need to see more and more people taking part in our democracy. Because the more you see more people, less people participating, that's when it all tells you there's a problem. And I'm saying, as the candidate to lead the party in the province, we want to see more and more people coming out and take part and participate in the democracy.
There are some potential black DA voters that look at some of the policies that you have adopted as the organization, like the issue around race not being a proxy for disadvantage, who say, well, I don't understand that kind of policy. If you want to get more black people to vote for the DA, do you think that's going to be a difficult task for you, and what's your plan around that, especially with issues around race policies in the DA that some black voters just don't agree with?
It's also people don't really understand, what we stand for as part of our values. Let me just reflect on diversity. It's part of the DA Federal Constitution, which we said we embrace, we want to promote it. And in that, we recognize that South Africa come from an ugly past, unjust past, where people were discriminated along the racial lines. We said we must recognize that. But what we need to do going forward, because we can't repeat and get fixated in the past, is to say, how do we then move forward? So moving forward, we then identify opportunities to say, can we create more opportunities for people who have not had access before, so that they will be able to compete and live the type of life which we know that it will be quality. But where we are is just perception, because people just think that the DA is for white people, black people have no space. But I'm saying what we stand for. We embrace diversity as one of our values. So we need to do that. And as I said, we also recognize the past injustices. How do you recognize, you recognize something and without coming up with a solution? So it's also you to say, let's look at your programs. Are you empowering more people so that more people are benefiting? And as I said, I'm committed to actually communicate that message that we want you to have opportunities. For example, let me just cite also the portfolio which I serve on. If you can't build a school where you can afford, young people opportunity to access basic quality education, you appoint contractors, they get a lot of money, and after that, they abandon the school infrastructure. In the same townships, you're not actually, assisting them. You're not creating opportunities for them to succeed. In actual fact, you are disadvantaging them because only few who have got access will take their kids to well-run schools somewhere else. But you have got an opportunity as government to provide opportunities where these people are. And I can mention a number of those projects which have been abandoned and no one is being held accountable. And in doing that, you are actually disadvantaging more people to get access so that they can compete.
I hear what you say about diversity, but when you have the DA that comes and says we don't believe that race is a proxy for disadvantage, that almost contradicts that position, doesn't it?
No. What we don't support is quota. Because what the ANC want is to set racial quotas. To say you can't have, more than 5 people who are women. You can't have more than 5 people who are black or who are white. So I can give an example of the caucus which I have in Johannesburg, in Gauteng, at the legislature. We've got more women in leadership position, more than men. So the way in which ANC proposes, so we need to put a card to say you can't have more women actually occupying those positions because there are no men. So we're saying we don't subscribe to that. What we need is a situation where we create more opportunities of people who are well capacitated, who can compete because they've got skills, they've got qualifications, they can deliver based on the jobs which we are actually giving them or affording them as an opportunity to lead. So we have not been at that level. One can give, because we always make reference of BEE when we talk about these racial quotas. Look at how many people who can say proudly that they are empowered and they are succeeding on their own. Because they will get opportunities. If it's not through government, they can't get or run anything. So we want to create opportunities which will last so that your business is not only dependent on government. It's a business which runs even on in private sector. Like you want to build a wall. Someone is a contractor there, but you can't rely or think that that person can do it. That person is only relying on building schools or building clinics. So that's why when we talk about creating more opportunities, is for people to compete and get into that and use their creativity, use their innovation to succeed, but not confine them to racial quotas where we're only counting who are the winners and who are the losers. So we want to broaden the scope by making sure that more and more people are actually benefiting.
Khume Ramulifho, thank you so much for making time for us and good luck.
You're welcome and thank you very much.